Welcome into Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green, and in today's video, we're going to give a recap, instant reaction, and all the injury news around every Giants player because it seems like every single one got hurt. But first, guys, go down, show some love, and like this video for Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones. They both suffered serious injuries, and who knows what the timetable is for those guys. So go down and like the video so these guys can get a speedy recovery and be out there as soon as possible. Today's Giants Cowboys recap is brought to you by our friends Manscaped. Head over to manscaped.com/chat and use chat 125 to get 20% off and free shipping on the best male grooming products in the world. All the info you need is in the comments and the description of this video. Go down and check them out. Let's look now at this recap. An unfortunate one for any New York Giants fan. They fall to the Dallas Cowboys 20-44. An absolute heartbreaker, not because of the performance that the Giants put up, but because of the injuries that were sustained for this Giants offense. I mean, when Daniel Jones goes down in the fashion that he did, where he's trying to rush for a touchdown and break the goal line, lowers his head first and takes a shot to the crown of his head and has to leave the game. He tried to get up and walk away, and you could see him. He was stumbling and bumbling, and it did not look good for Daniel Jones. Earlier in the game, Saquon Barkley, he ran a slant route. Daniel Jones threw the ball a little bit high, and he came down on the foot of a Dallas Cowboys DB, rolled his ankle, was out for the game. Kenny Golladay out for the game with a knee injury. We'll get into more injury news in just 1 second. But before we talk about more of the game, I want to know what you guys have to say. Let me know. Get down in the comments and be active for me, fellas. This is a safe space. This is only Giants fans are going to be allowed to watch this video and comment, so let me know. What was your one-word reaction to the loss? For me, it was damn, because it just sucked. It sucked seeing our guys go down in the fashion they did, and I'm upset, but we'll get all into that in one second. But first, let's talk about our friends over at Manscaped, the best male grooming products in the world. It's not even close. Head over to manscaped.com/chat and use the promo code chat125 to save 20% off and get free shipping off the amazing Lawnmower 4.0. Originally $89.99. With our deal, our promo code $71.99. 8 hours of battery life. It's able to use in the shower. It's waterproof. It has a light on the end of the tunnel, so you can get into the hard-to-reach places. And most of all, your girl and your balls will thank you. I guarantee it. If your apples, if they haven't been looking big enough and you haven't been performing as well as you like to in the bedroom, trust me, use Manscaped, manscaped.com/chat, promo code chat125. You'll thank me later, and so will your balls. Let's talk about Daniel Jones and the injury he suffered in today's game. It was the 3rd and goal, kind of like a naked bootleg action. I like the play call. I like when Daniel Jones gets his legs involved, but anytime you use your quarterback in the running game, you run the risk of losing him for the rest of the game like the Giants did. Jones, he lowered his head and trying to bull rush his way into the end zone, and he was concussed. It was clear as day. He got up, and he was wobbly. He looked terrible. I'm glad they didn't bring him out, or they didn't even let him try to come out. He was immediately carted to the locker room. And an injury like that, I'm going to say it first, guys, I don't expect Daniel Jones to play next week for the New York Giants. To clear concussion protocol, it's going to take him at least 10 days. He may miss next week, and he may miss the following week. So hopefully he comes back as soon as possible. But the number one priority is his health. I want Daniel Jones to be healthy. Head injuries are absolutely nothing to play with. Until he's 100%, I don't want him playing. So once he's 100%, I want to see him back in Giants blue, but not until then. So hopefully he gets better as soon as possible. Another Giants injury. We're going to be talking about a lot of Giants injuries because if you watch the game, you know what the hell happened. It was bad for the New York Giants. Saquon Barkley in the first quarter, I loved the play design. It was beautiful. They motioned Saquon Barkley out wide left, and he was matched up in a one-on-one situation with Micah Parsons, a rookie linebacker. But he is not good when it comes to being playing defense in the sense of being a pass coverage type of linebacker. That's where he struggles. That was clearly going to be a focal point for this Giants offense, and they attacked it early. Saquon Barkley ran a slant route from the outside, and I don't want to blame it on Daniel Jones because that's just not the right thing to do, but he airmailed the pass. Saquon Barkley tried to reach and catch up for the pass, came down, stopped, and then just stepped on the DB's defender, and his foot rolled, and his ankle swelled up so fast. I knew he wasn't coming back into the game. He was then carted to the locker room. They're now saying, reports are now coming out, it is a low ankle sprain. He's going to be week to week, and right now he is in the Dallas Cowboys locker room, well, the Giants locker room at AT&T Stadium in a boot and on crutches. Not good. Hopefully he can be back in a couple weeks. I expect him to be out next week as well with Daniel Jones. Another Giants injury, Kenny Golladay. This one kind of came out of nowhere because you didn't hear anything about it in the first half. But Golladay said after the game that he hyperextended his knee in the first quarter and tried to play through it and just couldn't get it done. He played through the second quarter, but after halftime, he didn't even put the pads on. He didn't even come back out. He didn't play a snap in the second half, which sucks for Giants fans because, look, Kenny Golladay, Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones, and Andrew Thomas, probably your 4 best offensive players, didn't get to play in today's game versus the Dallas Cowboys, and that clearly had an effect on the Giants' offense. But guys, the season, it may be over. We may be 1-4, but our coverage of Giants news and rumors over here at Giants Now will never stop. We're going to be making videos once official updates around Saquon Barkley, Kenny Golladay, and Daniel Jones come out about their health. I guarantee you we will have a video out within minutes. So if you want to stay up to date on everything surrounding the Giants, from news to injury news, trade rumors, those will start to pop up with the NFL trade deadline just around the corner. Go down and hit that big red button to join the fam and be a part of New York Giants Now. Probably the only bright spot for the New York Giants was Kadarius Toney. There was some bad, and we'll get to that in a second. But look at the stats on screen. He was targeted 13 times, had 10 receptions for a $189, the most ever for a rookie pass catcher. That was a New York Giant. He had a long of 38 yards. And what I liked to see was the creativity that Jason Garrett used him on. The wildcat zone read that he ran in the end zone. I wish they would have ran that again on 4th down, but they didn't. They came up short. But the versatility and the ways that Jason Garrett is using him in this offense is really fun to watch. And he's the real deal. There is no doubt about that. Kadarius Toney is the real deal. And as a Giants fan, I am happy and I am proud that he is wearing that blue, that Giants blue, because this guy, there's not many other players like him in the NFL. The way he's able to make people miss in the open field is stuff you see on Saturdays. That's not stuff you see on Sundays. That's not supposed to happen. And when he came in, and through the first couple weeks, he was labeled as this gadget guy, that's someone you just get the ball in space. Not a chance. Kadarius Toney is a legit wide receiver one. His routes, they will continue to get better. His IQ will continue to get better. But his big play catchability is already there. The catch he had on the sideline where he tapped 2 feet before falling out of bounds was absolutely incredible. I love everything I saw from Kadarius Toney. But the punch, absolutely upsetting. You can't go for 10 receptions, 190 yards, and have the best game almost of any Giants rookie wide receiver ever and end it in that fashion. I know, who was it? Devontae Booker that threw him on the ground late after that it was like a skirmish that kind of happened. Evan Ingram was involved. Casey, he threw Toney to the ground. Toney was clearly pissed off about it, got up, and then went for the open hand punch on Casey, and he actually missed, which is pretty funny. But you can't let that happen. You're a rookie. You're a young kid. I understand that. You cannot let the emotions get the best of you in a game like that. Joe Judge was clearly upset about that. He went right up into Toney's face after that happened and yelled at him and pointed at him and said, "Get the hell in the locker room." He didn't want to see any more of that. I'm upset about the fight that broke out, but I'm also proud because the Giants, they were getting their asses kicked. And the Cowboys, they were trying to embarrass them. I mean, with 2 minutes left in the game from the 12-yard line, the Cowboys were trying to score another touchdown for the Cowboys. So go down in the comments and type FD for F Dallas, because I absolutely hate Dallas, and they were trying to rub this one in 100%. Here's a look at the total stats from both teams, and it's simple. The Giants' defense, they did not play good enough for this team to win. I mean, you give up 515 yards. I remember the old days of being a Giants fan when they used to give up 500 yards, and it was absolutely brutal, and this was another showcase. The first 2 quarters, they could not stop the run at all. Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard were doing absolutely everything they wanted to on the ground, and it showed. And it carried into the second half, and then Dak Prescott, he got off to a slow start. Lorenzo Carter made a great play in the first drive of the game to get that interception on the 3rd down. But they just couldn't stop absolutely anybody. And this Giants defense is something to worry about. And someone I'm even more worried about, 2 people I'm worried about. James Bradberry. We'll start with him first. Last year when the Giants signed him, coming over from the Carolina Panthers, was one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL, not debatable, not even close. One of the best guys in the NFL. This year doesn't even look like the same player. He couldn't guard Amari Cooper, and he couldn't guard CeeDee Lamb, which I understand are two great receivers. But if you want to be a cornerback one in this league and paid like one, which James Bradberry is, you have to show up and be a lockdown corner. I understand the Giants are blitzing a lot and they're not getting home, but with the way Adoree Jackson and James Bradberry are being paid, they need to be able to hold it down in man-to-man coverage. And Adoree Jackson, another guy. And last thing before we talk about Adoree Jackson, I know the graphic, he's still on screen. James Bradberry. You have to come down with that interception. He broke on the Bang 8 route, which was awesome, but he didn't make the play. In a game like this, when you are the less talented team and you're playing with injuries, you have to capitalize on mistakes. Dak threw it right to James Bradberry, and he didn't capitalize. And I'm still waiting on Adoree Jackson to make a play wearing New York Giants blue. There's 5 games in, and he hasn't made a play yet. This guy was paid to be a lockdown corner on the opposite side of James Bradberry, and he hasn't done that. Is it hard because the Giants continue to blitz and not get home for a cornerback in this Giants defense? 100%. But at the end of the day, those two guys are paid like cornerback ones, and they need to play like it. This Giants defense clearly has a problem. They cannot generate pass rush with just 4 or 5 players. They need to bring pressure. And it's sad because they blitz a lot. And today, they blitz probably the most they have through the first 5 games, and they just did not get there. Austin Johnson, he was probably the lone bright spot on this Giants front. He played great. But you can't commit to blitzing if you're not going to be able to cover on the back end and not be able to get home like the Giants have not been able to all season long. But let me know what you guys have to say. I'm pretty damn pissed off about it because when I came into this season, I hope that the Giants defense would be the same as it was last year. I wasn't worried about it. I was worried about it being an offensive team that would struggle, and that's why the Giants would struggle. But that's been the furthest thing from the truth. This Giants defense is holding this team back. So get down in the comments, and on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you about this Giants defense? 1 being you're not concerned at all, they're turning around next week, and 10 being you're ready to jump out of the roof, and this defense is absolutely terrible because it is. I'm at about an 8. I'm really, really concerned about this Giants defense. One more time, a full look at this scoreboard. Mike Glennon, he did some things that I was, happy about when he came in relief for Daniel Jones, but he also showed you exactly why he is a backup quarterback in the National Football League. He's not someone that you can depend on to rattle off wins and get back in the race of the NFC East. I hope he doesn't play more than 1 game next week, but we will see. We'll keep you updated with that. Devontae Booker, he ran hard. He had 2 total touchdowns. Kadarius Toney, the Giants MVP, not even close. He needs to control his emotions, but I like what I saw out of Toney. But guys, we'll be back as soon as injury news comes out surrounding Barkley, Golladay, and Jones. And make sure you're subscribed so as soon as we put out a video, you'll be watching it. But until next time, go Blue.